For Crema Media's Polity, I'm Sane Dhlamini. Researcher and analyst Professor Raymond Suttner joins me to discuss the ANC beyond Zuma and the personalities. Welcome, Professor. Is your article not a little over conspiratorial in suggesting that Zuma has so great an interest in who may succeed him or re-stand as an ANC president?
Yeah, I don't think it's conspiratorial. I mean, if you just look at what has happened yesterday, Nwako Ramatlodi was moved, and the man who was appointed, it turns out, issued the invitation from the province of the Free State to the wedding guests of the Guptas, and so that they could claim that it was a government event. You may recall that when the Guptas landed at Waterkloof, it was claimed that it was a government event, and there was this invitation. So this is a man who has done a favour to the Guptas, and a favour to the Guptas may be a favour to Zuma. We don't know. Now, why I was concerned in this column, how I came to write it, I was invited to go on a panel at the Josie Book Fair on ANC after Zuma. And there's an assumption when you say after Zuma that Zuma is disappearing from the scene of political history, merely going to have retirement. But in reality, Zuma doesn't want to find himself in the same situation as General Pinochet from Chile, who when he went to London was arrested, or the president of Guatemala, who's just been arrested. And there is a real possibility that the charges against Zuma can be reinstituted. Personally, I don't believe that the reasons that they gave for the withdrawal of the charges were actually valid reasons, and it may well be that a court will find that the Supreme Court of Appeal and the Constitutional Court will find that. Now, it's important for Zuma to be sure that the person who is the prosecutor at the time will make a decision that does not endanger his welfare. Now, his welfare means the home that we as taxpayers have paid for, and a whole lot of other things. And the prosecutor will have to decide if the court says reinstitute the prosecution. They can't compel the prosecutor to prosecute, as far as I'm aware, but they can compel the prosecution to look at the matter again, revisit it, or they may be able to compel the prosecutor to reinstitute the prosecution. But you know, you can reinstitute prosecution in a number of ways, and they can be done in a very weak way in order to protect the person who's charged, or pay, and some things may have been lost. All these things can be made to happen. Now, clearly, Zuma would like to reduce the danger as much as possible, and the people who are involved in the campaign to have a woman, have the Women's League president elected, and that person also wanting a woman as president, is known as the Premier's League, and those people are very closely associated with Zuma. One of them is, of course, the Free State Premier, and this new minister has come from the Free State. So, you know, you've got an intricate web of linkages, and those people have all themselves been accused of various acts of corruption. And it may well be that if someone were to touch Zuma, it's much easier to go for them as well. So that they are tied to their fortunes. They may see their own fortunes as tied to Zuma. And they would want to see Zuma retire into a comfortable retirement without any worries, live according to the conditions that he's accustomed to for the rest of his life. Now, various people are suggesting that Cyril Ramaphosa will be the best person to succeed Jacob Zuma. They attribute various qualities to him, Mr. Fix-It. You know, if anything goes wrong, Zuma sends Ramaphosa to do this or to do that. Now, it's not clear what he has achieved, whether he's actually fixed anything so far. We don't know. Maybe he's very, very efficient. But the thing about getting elected president of the ANC is that you must have a support base in the ANC. Now, the media and business are not going to be voting for the next president of the ANC. And it's not clear that Ramaphosa has got any constituency. So what I think the Premiers' League, as well as probably most of the delegates in KwaZulu-Natal will do, is they will support whoever will safeguard the interests of Zuma. But they, in the main, with the exception possibly of Gauteng, there's no real constituency that Ramaphosa has. You must remember, Ramaphosa left ANC Secretary General's position somewhere around 1996, 1995. So he's not really been in ANC organizational position since then. And to be deputy president doesn't bring you in touch with delegates in a big way. Although obviously he's going here, he's going there, and he meets people. But it's not clear that that will give him support. Now, in the eyes of these people who form the Premiers' League, they can't be so sure of what Ramaphosa will do. He may get it into his head if he were to become president, that he should actually make the prosecuting system completely independent, and if needs be, the highest and the lowest should face the charges that they come up to and lead to Zuma being charged. And I think they feel that Nkosazana Dhlamini Zuma would be less likely to allow this to happen. Now, personally, I'm not attributing dishonesty to her or anything like that. All I'm saying is that the perception on the part of these people may well be that a person who is the mother of Zuma's children, who still has close ties with him, may be more reliable in a situation like this from their point of view. So consequently, they would not want to, they would support this idea of a woman's president, not for feminist reasons or anything like that, but they want a safe pair of hands to deal with this matter.
But you also suggested we need to move away from the fixation on personalities and that the ANC is not just about Zuma.
Yeah, you know, last night someone said to me, you know, we were talking about on Facebook about that I was at the Josie Book Fair, and then she said, who do you think will be the successor? And, you know, I really didn't want to get into that. I'm really tired of this politics, which is all about personalities. Now, what I said in the article is, in the 1990s, some people supported Thabo Mbeki, some people supported Chris Hani, and they supported them not because they liked them, but because they stood for certain programmatic and ideological things. Now, you don't get that anymore. People are associating themselves with Zuma or with someone else because they can see themselves benefiting from that. Now, what I also said there is it's important to understand, for those who are citizens who want to see change in this country, they need to confront the fact that the ANC is not the same as Zuma, and that many ordinary people associate their well-being with the ANC, that their lives have improved despite the corruption. Their lives have improved under the ANC government since 1994. And these people do not have the same confidence in the DA or the EFF in terms of continuing with the grants that they get, pension, the child care, the other social grants, which have lifted people out of absolute poverty. And I think people need to look at these things in order to understand what it will take for the ANC to be removed if they have the illusion that it will happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. That was Professor Raymond Suttner speaking to Creamer Media's Polity about the ANC beyond Zuma and the personalities.